change numbers.
Yeah.
I have a friend that's coming from Chicago, and he's a detective. He just retired from the Chicago PD, so he's looking to get him to maybe do some private detecting or see where he can get into here.
Oh, he wants to start an agency here?
Or at least work within the field, you know? Can you hear it good? All right. Is your microphone good? Oh, I love it. Oh my God!
Hey,
look,
caramba!
You gotta turn the camera. You gotta look at that. You gotta turn the camera.
Yeah.
Headline news, commentary, and entertainment from a decidedly conservative Latino perspective. Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Friday edition of the Chips and Salsa Show. Tonight is Friday, June 17th, and my name is Martin Gonzalez. And in the studio, we lovingly refer to as El Molcajete, is Don Jorge Ortiz.
El Alacran, and I'm back. And I'm here. I'm alive.
He's alive. And from the Saturday edition of the Chips and Salsa Show, Loops Munguia.
Hola, buenas noches. Hello, everyone. Thank you.
Alice Lara has the night off. Well, we have a very special show for you tonight, and we invite you to be a part of it. Give us a call, 602-277-KFNX. That's 602-277-5369. Plus, right now, call in for your chance to win a $50 gift certificate to Rosita's Fine Mexican Food Restaurant. So our in-studio guest, Marcia Hill, Republican candidate running for Sheriff of Maricopa County. Tonight, you'll hear her story. Then later by phone, we'll talk with Jeff Prather, former DEA agent, founder of Warrior School, expert on border issues and the Fast and Furious gun running scandal. He will share new details about Sadiq Mateen, father of Omar Mateen, Islamic terrorist and infamous Orlando shooter, who is buddies with Barack Obama.
Oh, wow.
Que escándalo.
Escándalo.
Dun, 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 dun. And what's trending in the news? Well, here's something interesting. We got firearms manufacturers and retailers reporting gun sales, especially of AR-15s, are way up.
Yay.
Since the Orlando massacre. Google denies manipulating search engine to hide unflattering posts about Hillary Clinton. Did you hear about that?
No.
Crazy, huh? Trump is proposing a temporary moratorium on immigration of Muslims to the United States, and Trump will be appearing here in Phoenix on Saturday. George, what's going on with that?
Well, he'll be at the Veterans Memorial Stadium, and starts at 4 p.m., and I've been invited to sit behind him, so all our fans will see me sitting behind him. Waiting,
wow, George,
making funny faces.
You make sure that you keep his hair in place, okay?
George, you're like an official dignitary.
I will be in July. I'll be going to the convention in July.
Oh,
yeah,
good,
but listen,
a Trump
you got a place
person.
of honor up there with Trump. You're going to be there. So it's basically a appearance by Donald Trump and George Ortiz.
And anything that happens to Trump, I will get in front and I will protect him.
Wow.
Would you really?
Yes.
Would you take a bullet for Donald Trump?
I'll take it.
You know, you've worked in security, right?
Yep.
And this guy that Omar Mateen, how does a guy like that get into the security business? That's crazy, isn't it?
I know, and it's strange that he got away with a lot of stuff that he said that most people would have been fired for because of political correctness. They let it go, and his employer said that they couldn't fire him. And, there was a lot of little pointers that kept going off that should have alerted people that this guy was off the rocker.
Well, you've worked in the security business, and so, like, what would you do if you heard somebody talking and saying some of the things similar to what Omar Mateen might have said.
He'd have.
What would you do if you heard that?
He would be on a watch list. He'd have to be
Within
on a
your
watch
organization?
list. Yeah, because he was talking about that he was with Al Qaeda. Then he talking about that he was with the ones that been fighting with Israel, the other terrorist group.
ISIS.
No, the one that the one
Hamas?
Hamas.
Mm.
And then now he says he's with ISIS. So it's like, and Hamas and ISIS kind of they don't get along, or so there's a lot of kookiness that was coming out of him. That would red flags should have gone up.
Definitely, no doubt. Well, speaking of kookiness, in Chismes y Habladores, Hillary is still Satan.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever noticed that only politicians say things like, we need to redouble our efforts, and then they insert whatever they feel like that redoubled thing needs to be? Like with the case of this Orlando shooter, Hillary's response was, well, we need to redouble our efforts in securing our country. Really? I mean, could there be any more trite response than to say we need to redouble our efforts? And yet only politicians, and maybe I'll extend it and say only Democrat politicians, not Republican.
Which in all essence are kind of saying what we have sucks.
Yeah.
That's really what they're saying.
We need to redouble our efforts. We need to suck twice as much. We don't suck enough. Speaking of sucking enough, Richard, yes, that was a segue. Richard Simmons
Oh my. Oh.
had gender reassignment surgery. Did you see
No
that?
way.
Yes. You go, girl. That's all I have to say to him.
Oh.
And just in time for Father's Day, O.J. Simpson reaffirms his claim that he is the real dad of who? Khloe Kardashian. Escándalo.
That'll get him in the news.
No way.
Yes.
What? And it's
Well, he's got to get in the news somehow.
Yeah.
Well, in the Martin file, I know that Islamic terrorists hate the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I know they hate Christians, Jews, gays, women, but I didn't know until this past Sunday that they also hated Latinos.
Oh.
I mean, just when
What
I was...
do we do? Our
did
sarapes,
You're Americans.
our sarapes are very much close to the rappers that they have. That
Just-
they've got.
Just when we were getting... just when I was getting comfortable, you know, being a Latino, sort of coming out of the closet saying, hey, I'm a Latino. You know, now I got to go back in the closet
And
because I
hide.
don't want Muslims to, hurt me.
I don't want ISIS after you.
I don't want ISIS after me.
Arm up.
Wow.
So, this is
Martin,
very,
you're stirring up a pot of stuff here.
this is very upsetting to me. Very upsetting. What's going on with you, Oops?
Nothing much, just working, recuperating. I was ill for, gosh, almost a month, 3.5
I know. What did
weeks.
you have? We didn't see
I
you
had
for,
everything.
like,
I had
ever.
everything on the books. Influenza, really bad cold, bronchitis, and really walking pneumonia. So I just had to a lot of rest, and a lot of meds. And finally, the last that really helped out was steroids and rest. So
Look at the muscles
I
on
got
this
guns
dude.
on me.
She's lifting weights while she was off work.
But I'm glad to be at work.
We're glad to have you.
I'm excited to be back and be silly here with you guys, and
We missed you.
we missed. I missed you guys too.
We were worried about you too.
Why, thank you. It feels so nice to be loved. And I'm
Aw.
still single.
And you're still single.
She's still single.
And the number for Loops, you can give Loops a call right
For
now.
a good time call.
277-5369. And if you want, we'll give you a gift certificate. Loops comes
There you
with a
go.
bonus.
Whoa!
Un premio.
Premio.
So you get Loops, and maybe she can take you to Rosita's, right? It'll be like a get to know me.
Oh my God! Hey, you know what? That sounds like not a bad idea.
Why not, right? Okay.
Can I throw in an age range?
You better put in a little details
All
here.
right,
Okay.
47, between 47 and 52. No
Why
matter.
47? 47? Exactly 47?
Oh, yeah.
46 is too young for you? What do you
Yes.
mean 47 is right?
Can't live with mom.
All right.
Thanks,
Well,
guys.
we're going to have Marcia Hill join us in a little bit.
What a great segment.
Thank you so much for being with us, and stay tuned. We're going to be introducing you to Marcia Hill. Who is Marcia Hill? Well, she's running for sheriff. So we'll tell you all about it right here on 1100 KFNX. You're listening to the Chips and Salsa Show.
Ay, 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 ay.
See, they're the ones who egg me on.
I can't believe you have between 47 and 52. That's the only qualification.
Well, that and they have to be
Call
Catholic.
on that one.
That and they have to be Catholic. Catholic boys.
And how about a Republican?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, the list is starting to get bigger, right? More parameters going on.
Absolutely. Oh, gosh.
Cannot be Middle Eastern. How about that?
Right. However, my ex-husband actually looked like Saddam Hussein, because he used to have the thick, huge mustache. As a Latino, he could have really passed as Saddam Hussein at the time.
My former husband was with the White House press, and every place they'd go, like Egypt or any place, he looked like a native.
Uh-huh. He's talking to him.
Whoa. Bring him in.
If we bring him in, he's done in the second. Okay. You want to do it? Okay. You want to bring it in?
Huh?
You want to bring in the second?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's have Jeff, and we'll keep that mic potted down. So.
Jeff Prather.
Okay, did you hear that?
Huh?
So you say we have a special guest on the line, and then he'll pot him up.
Okay.
So he's there, so you don't have to say, "Are you there?" He's just there. So 20 seconds.
Welcome back to the Chips and Salsa Show, and this is Jorge, back on the air.
Back from the dead.
Back from the dead. Yeah, kind of
North
go
Day.
into one of those vampire things, and they close it, and I wake up. But anyway, and we got with us, we have the beautiful Loops
Hello, everyone. Buenas noches.
and our distinguished other host, Mr. Martin. Also, don't forget to call in for the free gift certificates, 602-277-5369.
It comes with loop.
And
Dinner with Loops is optional.
We'll interview you here on the radio when you call in. Call in.
Yeah, we'll get your profile.
There you go.
You have to check on LinkedIn and Facebook, right?
Gotta make
see
sure.
see if they qualify.
And a special treat today. Also, I brought in a friend. His name is Scott, and he's a friend of mine. And he's he's had the radio experience in the past, and maybe we'll let him say a few words in one of our last segment here. Anyway, on our show, we have a special guest on the air who is called in, and we call him our secret agent man, Mr. Prather.
Good evening.
Hello.
Buenas
Buenas
noches.
noches. We even have chips and salsa here today. You're not here, and we have chips and salsa. See what happens when you don't show up. Well, you weren't supposed to show up anyway. So you got news for us, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Shoot.
No pun intended.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
A covert gun running operation.
We do. Go.
This is like a pop quiz.
Yeah, and we're failing.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
$20 to $30
You mean the response time? You mean how they react themselves?
They send in SWAT and they send in.
But I heard they waited 3 hours before they went in.
Negotiations.
So why the wait?
Wow.
Meaning? So who declared the state of emergency? Was it Governor Scott? Or was it President? Okay. No.
Nope.
This is like
Is
a
it
civil
martial law?
test. Civil rights test. Well, you're posing interesting questions, and that's what I love about what you're telling.
No.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
So tell me, Jeff, in that length of time that you said, obviously it took them 3 hours. How do you think we should have handled that? I mean, aside from the fact that 3 hours passed and a lot more people were killed, what would have been the right protocol, or are they just, going by what they have to do? They feel like they have to step on eggshells, or they have to do a mother may I kind of situation. They have to wait. Who did they wait for? Who do you think that they were waiting for to get the green light to go ahead and get this guy?
Even if they're outgunned and outmanned, like if in this case there was one shooter, but if there's more than one, are they still called to do that? Oh.
So do you think that in this point in time, do they go into like a panic, and they're just afraid of making the wrong move? I kind of have a feeling that could be it, that they just they know what they need to do. They just, get into that situation.
Well, we're running out of time.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. We appreciate
Jeff,
it.
if you could maybe come into the studio and we'll finish this conversation. Bring the chips and salsa.
Thank you.
Jeff,
Thank you. We
Great
appreciate
job.
that.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're listening to the Chips and Salsa Show right here on 1100 KFNX.
Yeah, just to hear the information that comes. It's just it's
You
beyond
think
me.
they're going to do martial law?
Well, that's something that was considered, you know.
Or did they get through their earpieces or their phones? Stand down.
Right. That could have been it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah,
And like a Benghazi.
Because
Stand
again,
down.
they're just thinking that they don't know how many shooters or who are the shooters inside. Right.
Except people were texting.
Right.
So they could have.
They could have got a lot of feedback, but again,
Yes.
but it could go either way, right? It could go either way. You don't know who's texting, right? You don't know who's texting. You don't know what's information being transpired. Should you believe all that's coming out, right? Does that make sense? I mean, some people may have texted, oh, this person so said, but could that be a diversion, right? Does that make sense? So they're. It's
This
not
is
until
what
being in
happens
there.
when people don't carry.
Mm-hmm. Right. At least, out of all those people that were there, it would have been great for one of them to have that. It would have been. It would have definitely would have been an opportunity.
He wants to talk about Trump coming to town, and he says he's a Latino, but he has some theories about what's going on. And so I thought, oh, that'd be fun in the fourth segment. I don't know what he's going to talk about, but if it's about Trump coming to town, we could bring that. We could talk
That's a
about
good
that.
hot
Talk real
topic.
quick about it.
Yeah. What do you think? Jeff is so good. Gosh, he's always got.
Great
Yeah, he
dish.
used to come in and do another show. He just opens your eyes. It's just-
I know.
He's a good. We've had him twice on the show,
Uh-huh.
and a couple of times on the phone. His wife works for a think tank in Washington. Some government.
Marsha, are we allowed to use your last name? Is that okay or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay.
In fact, his wife was on Cruz's foreign advisor. She was foreign advisor for Cruz's campaign.
Hmm.
Loops, do you want to bring in Marcia in the third?
Sure. Marsha, your last name, Marsha?
Marcia Hill.
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 Marcia
Like
Hill
in
is
Small
running for
Mountain?
Okay.
sheriff. There, go back home. Okay. We have another 2 minutes.
They're playing our ad.
That's our promo.
Huh?
That's our promo.
Oh, you can hear it? Oh.
Love that.
Chunky,
Oh, yeah.
funky.
We're going to go to commercial after this. Thank you. We are chips and salsa. That started with the very first thing that we wrote, huh, George? When we were talking about what we were going to do with the show. And when we came up with chips and salsa, it was just, we came up with chunky, funky, and fun. That's what we wanted the show to be.
And it just, that's...
It just took off from there.
It took off. Just, a lot of people like it. Chunky, funky, and fun.
So, Loops, if you're going to bring us in, will you take us out too? If you bring us in, since you're bringing us in, will you take us out too at the end
Sure.
of the segment?
Yeah, we always mess up taking it out. I don't know, something about wrapping it up. I gotta practice more of it.
You did fine.
I did it real good on Saturday when I did it by myself.
Did you?
Yeah, 'cause I didn't have a choice. I had to.
It has to be something. You have to say something. Okay, now we're back. The Elton Brothers. Real estate.
I'm from the market. Fancy that.
Well, welcome everyone. Welcome back to the Chips and Salsa Show. We are live in Independent Talk Radio, KFNX 1100. Guys, just a quick little reminder. Do call in to win your Rosita's Mexican Restaurant certificate, $50 certificate. So
And a date?
And a possible date. Oh, they're gonna throw me under the bus here with you guys. Knock it off. Okay. Here in our molcajete, which we like to call this here. First of all, I want to let you know that we miss Alice. Alice listening. Just hang on tight. We're hoping to do our best here. We miss you. I know that you're out there at the Women's Federate Republican Women's Club in Prescott. So have fun, and if you're able to hear us and give us a call, we'd love to hear from you. And in our molcajete, we have tonight Marcia Hill. Welcome, Marcia Hill.
Thank
she
you.
is running for sheriff for the Maricopa County. She's running against Sheriff Arpaio. So hopefully we'll see. We'll see what good information she has on that. And again, welcome Martin, our host as well for the Chips and Salsa show. And to my right, I have George. Oh my God, the SNL. So it's amazing to thank you very much for being here, Marcia. So can you just kind of give us a little brief intro of what's your goal? You know, I know that we know that you're running for Marshal. So
Sheriff.
Sheriff
of Maricopa County.
Why should we vote for you? Tell us. Give me some good insight.
Well, first of all, I feel that the sheriff's office needs to be run like a business, and that includes being responsible and accountable for every area that goes on in the sheriff's office. If we had accountability in the sheriff's office, we wouldn't have problems that are being generated right now.
Okay.
Let me ask you, Marcia, you mentioned you wanted to run like a business. Do you have a background in business
Yes.
or in law enforcement? Can you talk about that and your connection to running for that
Well, the
position?
good thing is, I am not an ex-cop. I'm a business owner since 1980.
Okay.
I started
Okay.
when I was 3, and it's still going. And I've been able to get a lot of business experience. Later in life, I decided I wanted to work alongside of Joe and the MCSO. And so I moved back to Arizona from Southern California to do that. And then, after experiencing what went on in the sheriff's office, and then experiencing firsthand how they retaliate and don't do the right things, I decided I was going to actually run for the constitutional position of sheriff. And I am a constitutionalist by all means.
So explain to us. I mean, for those that are have that notion a little vague. Tell me, what do you mean by that? And you're running as a constitutionalist?
As a constitutional sheriff.
Sheriff,
The
okay,
sheriff
so-
is to be running with America's Constitution.
Okay.
And one thing that includes is the sheriff is supposed to be the last man in between the citizens of Maricopa County and the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen it not work in other states. That's why there's been the Bundy case. And we see it in little areas, in pockets here in Arizona. The BLM would love to take over some land, and they're trying to get their feet in the door to do that. It's up to the sheriff to make them do a U-turn and get out of Dodge, or out of Phoenix in this case.
Right.
Marcia, I wanted to ask you, tell me about your involvement with Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
All right. About 6 years ago, some friends and I who were living in California wanted to work with the sheriff in Orange County to start up the animal rescue like there is at the sheriff's office. It's called MASH, and they take abused and abandoned animals and they house them and they get them doctored up so that they can be adopted out. So we thought it would be wonderful to have a business that was a 501c3 that was like Orange County Sheriff's Advisory Council. And what they did was they got business people, local business people, and they would be part of this advisory board. And so if the sheriff's office was running low budget-wise to do some things that needed to be done, let's say they needed 10 vests and they only had money for 5, then the advisory board would come up with money for the extra 5 vests. Well, we wanted to do something like that in Maricopa County. So we started the corporation to help raise money for the sheriff's office to supplement them. By the time we got our 501c3, we had problems with the sheriff's office because by this time, years down the road, by this time I was the commander of the animal posse. And I got a letter one day from one of the chief deputies asking for the animals' money for the sheriff's office budget constraints. We're talking about $200,000.
Wow, they wanted that.
They wanted that for their budgetary constraints. So, being that we were running the 501c3 properly, we took a vote. Should we or should we not give it over? The only problem is, had we given it over, it would have been illegal to do that.
Yeah.
They should have known that, but they didn't care. So we voted not to give them the $200,000 for their own budgetary constraints. They wrote a letter back saying that he and the sheriff didn't like our decision. Gee, what a surprise. A month later, we started getting harassing calls. We started getting threats. I was being called and told I was under internal affairs investigation. And they just took the whole group and put it on its head.
Wow.
So we decided to take ourselves, the 501c3,
Separate yourself.
away from the sheriff's office, still pay the vet bills, which they said that we stole the money, so they stopped giving us the bills for veterinarians. And we are now a separate entity for the last couple of years, and we only help animals in the Maricopa County area. And so now, since they do not want us to pay any of their vet bills because they want to say how we did them wrong, we help other rescues. We help people who have a need of a dog fight and their dog gets in trouble, so we help supplement paying for their vet bills. So we're still out in the community doing things. The only situation is we used to get monthly money from different organizations and annual donations from organizations, but the sheriff's office and the attorney general's office called all the donators and told them to stop donating to us.
Marsha, I wanted to ask you, and what you're doing in terms of rescuing animals is noble and a great work that's being done in Maricopa County. But my question is, what do you think is job one for the sheriff of Maricopa County?
I think the absolute first thing is accountability. I have seen people being told what to do, and they go out and do whatever the heck they want. It's time for every command staff to be accountable for what they are being told to do, what their job is supposed to do, and pass it on down the line. As I said, if it was accountability, we wouldn't have lying going on, we wouldn't have slander, we wouldn't have people stealing from the sheriff's office, etc.
I know that there's a lot more subjects that we would like to get into, but one of the biggest issues that Sheriff Arpaio is, very big in the immigration situation here in Phoenix. So tell me, how would you, just in a quick, 30 seconds, what would your outtake or outlook would that be?
Well, first of all, let's look at the word illegal immigration. Years ago, they would have been on a wanted poster. Okay, so we need to keep our borders secure, or we need to make them so they're secure, because they're certainly not now.
Right.
In other words, people that are coming here, they're stealing from you, they're stealing from me, every taxpayer.
Well, we'd like to continue, but I know that we're cutting this segment short. So thank you, everyone. Hang on tight. We've got one more segment of the Chips and Salsa Show here on Independent Talk Radio, KFNX. You know, it's like not enough time and so many new questions.
I was going to say,
you know?
boy, I've never gotten to say that much about the animal group. Now, the Judge Snow is going to make a ruling on retaliation at the sheriff's office because there's so much retaliation. That's why we get $240 million in court cases for illegal investigations and illegal, all sorts of things that they do.
Hey, George. We have a caller that wants to ask Marcia a question. Do we want to do that in the fourth segment?
Yeah.
You want to do that real quick and bring her back for a quick question?
We're losing your voice.
Oh, because
Yeah,
I'm
when
looking.
you turn
Just speak very close to
sideways,
them.
Your
Just-
voice, you lose your voice. You got to
Just-
speak, have the microphone.
Yeah, just
Yeah, every
look
time
right
I keep looking at you and then you
Yeah,
and you.
but
This
yeah,
isn't
just-
TV where I have to look at
yeah,
anyone.
which is great, but still though, hang on tight to the mic.
So, Marcia, would you be interested in taking a question from a listener?
Fine, why not?
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'll bring the segment back in. We'll ask you a question, and then we will say thank you and end your segment. So there will be no more talking from you at that
Okay,
point.
I
And
can
we'll
go
bring
to
you,
the
Then you
bathroom,
guys are going
right?
to do a switch, okay?
Yeah.
So there'll be a little choreography. Then,
Mike, you want me to step away and then you can just
no,
come?
however, whatever we need to do so
Okay,
that
so
we
you-
can make that switch. And then George will introduce his friend. And
Well, I'll step
we're-
away
and
for a
then-
second.
And then George, we have the other caller, Gilbert, who's going to talk about Trump. And then you can talk about that.
George, I'll step away so that way he can sit here, and then we can still have her. Because
Okay.
if she wants to continue, add on anything else. So.
No,
That's
only,
it?
No,
only the segment.
only
Got
the
it, got it,
question.
got it.
Only the question.
Got
That's
it.
it.
Okay. Then I guess you can step out and you'll switch.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Play some conga. Ba, 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 ba.
I know. I want that music.
Arizona
we have the Trump
Constitution says you don't have to be an
Thank you,
ex-cop
George.
to be a sheriff in Arizona.
I got some awesome, great news. Just so you know, I had my nephew graduated from police academy yesterday. So.
Trump. This Latino's
Trumpster.
gonna vote for Trump. Hey, you know what? Why not? I'm going to vote for him. Hello and welcome back. You're listening to the Chips and Salsa Show right here on 1100 KFNX. I'm Martin Gonzalez. In the studio, we call the Molcajete, is Don Jorge Ortiz Alacran. And from the Saturday edition of the Chips and Salsa Show, Loops Munguia.
Hola, buenas noches.
Buenas noches. I love the Spanish element that you bring to the
Oh,
show.
gracias, gracias.
And we have asked Marcia Hill, who is running for Maricopa County Sheriff, to stay on with us for this little bit longer because we have a caller on the line, Steve. And Steve, you have a question for Marcia. Go ahead. Well, you're welcome. Go ahead. What's your question for Marcia?
I can't hear.
Is that I think it was as much a question as it was a statement. Did you want to address any of that?
Well,
Marcia?
under the Arizona Constitution, A sheriff does not have to be a law enforcement person. That is it, period. And at this period of time in the history of Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, they need someone in there with business sense, someone who will be accountable for every aspect. If anybody has ever run a business, they don't just let their employees do whatever they want. Okay? They are responsible to the owner of the business. And guess who the MCSO is responsible to? It's the people of Maricopa County, because they're the taxpayers. And when you start getting $240 million in court awards and court settlements because things went on illegally, we need to clean that up in the sheriff's office. And fortunately, I'm not a politician. Fortunately, I'm not an ex-cop. I am a business runner. I am a business owner, and this county needs to have trust in what goes on at the sheriff's office.
Thank you so much, Marcia. And thank you, Steve, for your call. Really appreciate that. And we're going to have a change of seats here because George is going to introduce a friend of his that is going to be a part of this last segment, too. And, George, we also have Gilbert on the line. And, Gilbert, welcome to the show. What's going on and what are you thinking?
Oh, you've been a criminal.
You...
Yeah.
That's right. That's the other one is what was the other high school in? That's funny.
Oh, it's Mexican. That is a great statement there. Thank you.
Hey, Gilbert, I have a quick question for you. Are you going to go to the rally, or has the concern, the risk that is raised by having demonstrators and disruptors at Trump rallies discouraging you from attending an event like that? Yeah.
And you sound like a good American. What was his name? Gilbert.
America's beer.
Mm. That's great.
Gilbert, thank you so much for your call. Really appreciate your insights. George, what did you think, Loops? Huh? Wow.
Now that is.
Not that guy was passionate.
And that, to me, you don't see that too often because he he takes the citizenship seriously.
Yes.
And when you take that oath of citizenship and you come here and you become a U.S. citizen, it's in your heart.
You know, it's
in Gilbert's heart.
And it's not that you're
Thank you, Gilbert.
renouncing your heritage. Absolutely. No, that doesn't take anything away. You know, we love our heritage. We love our chips and salsa. We love the guacamole. We love our mariachis. That has nothing to do with being an American, a Mexican American. You know, the fact that we have a great opportunity. You know, and it was so sad that the last we were talking about, we didn't bring up the issue really quick, but there was this young lady who is giving the commencement on I don't know if it was a high school or a college.
Yes.
And that was just so sad to
hear.
The valedictorian. That this valedictorian really, I say, diminished a view of what a Latino should be, and that's what this gentleman was talking about, Gilbert. The gratitude, you know, she didn't show the gratitude of the fact that she had been here all these years. The fact that her parents. We don't know the history of this young lady, but how could you get on that stage and do what you did? It doesn't show your courage, your gratitude for this nation that gave you a lot of opportunities, that will possibly give you a lot more. But I was very disappointed to hear her statements. You know. George,
tell us about your guest here.
I brought in a guest, Scott. He works with a company, a security company. And he's one of the,
the patrol supervisor.
Patrol supervisor, and he's had some radio experience in the past. So I invited him to our station. Could you tell a little bit about yourself, Scott?
Well, like you said, your patrol supervisor. I've been working in the security industry for 45 plus years. My little bit of background that I have had in the radio was like mid to late 90s. I had a classic rock radio show in Los Angeles for a couple of years until the Northridge earthquake took away my complete vinyl library.
Wow.
Which ended my career because I had no music to play after that.
What kind of music did you have?
You name it. I mean, from, oh my God, late 60s, 70s, 80s, some 90s, but not too much.
Any rare collectible historical albums?
I did have a few, but it's like it was so long ago, and it's like I can't even remember half of what I had because my library was so extensive.
Yeah. Well, we're sure glad you were able to come by. George, Loops, can you believe it? The show,
it's just
to 1 hour vaporizes, and, we sure want to thank our listeners for being a part of the show, and we want to thank everybody who calls in.
Thank you for having me tonight.
The lovely Dion and our technical director, who quietly assumes a modest role, but we can't do the show without him, and Secret Sonia. George.
That's right.
Tell us about the YouTube channel, because we're winding out here.
The YouTube channel.
Yeah, people want to see us on YouTube.
Oh, go to Sonia Salsa S. After you go to YouTube, go to Sonia Salsa S, and you watch us live. And you watch us live on Saturday. You watch us live on Fridays.
Thank you so much. We'll see you later.
Good night.
The guy's still on? He's still on here? Looks like he's still...